Treyu, unfortunately. As soon as you started talking,
cool.
after you brought up the cop the story, the server just burnt. Totally burnt.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear anyone, so I wasn't.
Yeah, because that's part of the problem.
But no, I was saying, one like with her letter, we could get it inscribed on the coffin, like when I go to the shop to like pick it up.
I mean,
It is quite long. But
yeah, I was gonna say it's in the campaign talk. If you want to look at it, it's quite a long little chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to read that for the people that I can't do it
Yeah, he's
myself.
going to go for you first.
Does he sound far away to everyone else?
Yeah, he said like he bumped his mic or something.
Ah, right.
Keep talking with your mic, Treyu. You can't quite hear. There we go.
Hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole letter thing was just so to keep the guy busy while we check out the shop. You know, like one turns us invisible, Cole passes us without trace, and then we check out the place. And if there's nothing in there, you know, Lucian will give everyone 50 gold just for the time. But if there's something in there, then you know, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And if there's not, you could always plant evidence.
That would be a bit evil for this party.
Don't need to know that.
But I don't know if it's.
I don't know. It sounds like T3 really wants to harass this guy. Lucian really wants to harass this guy.
It's kind of, but this guy is really sketchy. This guy's really sketchy. He doesn't have anything dynamite. He doesn't have anything for certain, but he does feel sketchy.
You know, it's like as a hunter, you gotta trust your instincts, and his instincts tell him there's something. Could be.
Yeah. Then I figure you guys also wanted to look into the Mad Mage, so that might mean crossing back over the lake and looking for him specifically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that? I want to make sure I understand where we're going, what we're doing specifically. So Coffin,
the
Wild Mage.
Right. I'm not sure we established it. Like I think Lucian and Darius would have told you guys about that encounter with those.
Yeah, that's what I was going to assume, is that you guys would talk about it. Yeah, you could do that in character if you want, but I figured it would just be, that sounds interesting, that could be an ally for us, let's go, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go look into that.
Definitely would tell him about it.
We also had the person of fancy writing. I can't remember the name who wanted to meet up.
Esmeralda. Yes,
yeah.
I love that too. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so these are three things.
So we just
anything? I'll just go by people. Is there anything, let's say, Darius wanted to do? I'll just go by different people, and I can make sure that
I think I got pretty much everything done with like finishing transcribing the spells. Yeah, Darius is very excited about, you know, meeting or maybe finding, even if he is a bad mage, finding a powerful mage who has gone up against Strahd.
Yes, that I can see how that could be interesting, right?
But yeah,
okay,
I finished up.
So that's good.
Didn't we also have that lich that Michael wanted to deal with to go back to or something?
That was something that we never really decided on when we were doing that. But yes, as far as in character, it was something where, I don't know if you said that you were going to, he said that he wanted to be restored, and that would require a greater restoration spell, as far as what you guys learned. Which we don't have that means. Actually, we attained, we got a scroll and then we use it on something? I remember getting a scroll, greater restoration, somewhere. I think my memory is terrible today. And then I think you guys wanted to use it.
I know Michael wanted to kill it, and Lucian definitely wants to kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not like outright attacking people, but you know, he's lit. So
yeah, as far as the local area knows, it's just a legend. He's not the sort of guy to go out and kill stuff. He's trying to recover his own memory.
Hundreds of people to like on Lich. Didn't he have to?
I mean, yeah, that would have been a long time ago, but it would have been so long ago that he's not like an active threat right now. I mean, the barbarians, the berserkers and stuff of the mountains that come down in that area are more of a threat to that area, and the blights and stuff that you guys did take care of were a problem. But no, he was not something you'd heard of outside of there. You didn't know about his existence prior to that.
Just the extreme version of a librarian sitting on his library all day.
Yeah, went a little crazy. So yeah, I mean, you guys can decide if you want to go back there and face him, or you can do it later as after the campaign, or
we can
whatever.
just decide that Strahd is more important than this guy right now, so we can ignore
I
him.
think so.
Wasn't that the result of that discussion we had back then?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I just wanted to make sure that it was.
I'm not completely sure either. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I believe so as well. So anyway, we'll just at this moment we'll put it off unless anybody really does want to go take care of it. Like they think it would be
And
very
we're
in
probably
character
also
right now.
dropping those people with the dragon boss, the one with the skeleton remains they wanted us to reclaim. I assume we're ignoring those guys.
No, I mean you're not. Strahd has them, so he has them in his castle. So that's part of.
That was not known to me.
Yes, yeah. The remains of the dragon were taken by Strahd as an insult to him because he was an enemy of Strahd.
Well, then,
so once he died, he took the remains to kind of say, like, one last fuck you kind of thing.
Then we're not going to get them as allies then. Okay.
Unless
we could do a heist and go back.
Essentially you'd have to sneak in, or you have to leave after getting it.
Yeah, in the middle of a war.
Yeah, it would be difficult, but technically possible. And yeah, once you've got it, you would technically be able to make use of it. Well, you guys don't know exactly what the layout of the castle is like in terms of your ability to come and go. It might be once you're there, you're committed. It might be possible to leave again. Because there might be more than one way in. We don't know.
Yeah, the original campaign, as I understand, was meant to be like phases of going back and forth between the castles. So
yes, that's the standard way of doing it, is going back and forth between the castle, like deeper in and then leaving, and then deeper in and then leaving, and doing that over and over and over.
Okay, get into the game. So I'm gonna finish off my letter and like just I guess send it off, probably show it to the rest of the people in the party to see if they wanted to add anything. And
yeah, he's going to hate you one.
Yeah, that's the point.
Oh no, I getcha. I think it's very effective.
As I said, I don't know if you wanted to read that for the benefit of me not being able to read it to other people, or if everyone else has read it themselves, but yeah, send that off. And then I spend the rest of the night like...
I was going to ask it. Has everybody read the letter that one put in the campaign talk?
I think I read it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I know you and I did too.
Yeah.
So, did everybody else? Or if not, I will read it.
Yeah.
The only one who said he hasn't is Mark, but it's fine. The majority of people said it was fine. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, Mark, then we're fine.
And then for the rest of the night, I will do the whole reflecting and like trying to remember the past events. But we can do that scene after everyone else is at the moments if they're fine with it.
Yeah, actually, I think it would make. I think that might be better to start off with. I believe, because of where we are, we're in the inn, and we're starting off the session there. So, let's just say throughout the night, you guys are there for more than 8 hours because you're allowed to be. You're well liked by the community, and you can do whatever you want. Really, but anyway, point being, you were writing that letter, going to sleep and all that kind of stuff. So, if you want to, do a scene where about your character reconciling with that or something, we can.
Oh, sure.
That would make sense. Here.
So one is like finishing off writing the letter like through the candlelight, and I imagine it's like late because we're about to go to sleep and whatever else. And she like finishes off the letter, like folds it up, and then looks to the side and thinks like, It's like reminding herself of what Juan and Eric were discussing about how I have to consciously try to remember the past events, and that might be able to get through the memory block she has.
Yeah.
So she, I guess, gets comfortable. I don't know exactly how to describe that, but
Yeah.
she finds a
it's
beanbag
meditation,
chair
just, oh,
and
yeah.
pulls
Sure.
out some weed from her back pocket and.
Oh, I'm sorry. Michael would like to buy a hunting trap.
Oh, that makes sense. But I can do that in a moment. You can actually just add that if you want. We can do that.
Okay. Yeah, because I've got an idea for this coffin guy.
Okay, and
I think I already know.
then she.
I actually
Go ahead.
have some.
Sorry.
Oh, you have like the actual hunting traps? I
Yeah.
imagine them just like standard bear traps.
Yeah, I,
Yeah, they're built in with people that have survival as their background.
bought a bunch
Or
of
they're
them.
not strong.
I think I have
Would-
4 of them. Yeah, I think I bought. Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember you guys having some. But yeah, go ahead.
And then one just essentially like takes a moment to think. I don't know if you want to call it like meditation, but she tries her best to relax and try to remember the series of events. So go on, if you want to describe
Okay.
memories flashing.
Yeah,
towards her.
we could try. Let's go back over what exactly I showed in the vision. It was like blood and
Mm.
the gun, the bodies, and they were all disjointed in time. So let's try. I want to make some. I had some adjustments in my head that I already was thinking about in regards to what actually happened, because it would be kind of hard for someone to get away with killing 2 people with 1 gun without her being overpowered by 2 fully grown adults. So I was thinking of adding one person got stabbed with a knife in one room, and 1 person got shot in the other room. If that is something you think would work.
It's really not, but okay.
No, I'm just saying it would be very hard to kill someone with 1 gun. And these type of guns, you would have to reload it. How would someone?
Oh, it's a reloadable
shoot-
gun. I see. Okay.
Yeah, how would they be shot? I mean,
Okay, not giving away the story, but the idea is that the parents were overcome and basically forced to stand there and be killed. Otherwise, one would be killed along with them. If you understand me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. No, I didn't know that at all. I thought that it was more like a mind control. You hit it in different places, kind of thing. Like you just caught them off guard and they weren't expecting it at all, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's
I didn't
mind.
know it was-
It's mind control.
Smiling.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you
You
got
never
that
expect
part
your kid to shoot.
correct. So one was essentially mind controlled, but the parents themselves had the understanding that unless they allowed the one to kill them, one would die along with them. So they.
No, I think we can. I got an idea about how we can make this work. I know I shouldn't have. We shouldn't have been talking that in front of the other people, but I'm not going to strong arm you. But I think I have an idea, and I want to see.
Okay, run with it, but it does conflict with the whole dream sequence I posted before with the 2 gunshots, and that was the whole
Yeah,
flashback.
I know. Yeah, no, I think I can make that work still in terms of. I was just really kind of confused about the gun in the first place without making strange concessions in terms of. You're right. If they're being magically compelled, that makes more sense. I didn't understand that part of it. I
It's
thought
fine.
that
You
it
were
was-
allowed to have some liberties with the events, but by all means.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I will keep it more in line with what you're talking about, and that is not an issue. So, all the same, let's go with where would you? This would make the most amount of sense for you to be kind of transposed back into that time period, like into that age. So we can kind of essentially say the scene is moving back to one as a younger child.
Hmm.
How old would you probably say she was when this happened?
She was like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 is what I was guessing. All right, so she's back at that time.
Hmm.
Um, uh, let's say you were at home, but you were in a different space in the house than where your parents were at that moment. Like you're not all in the same room right when this happens.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You're just in the other part of the house, and
She would be in her bedroom playing, as any lovely
Yeah.
child would be doing.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something like that, or I didn't want to be too specific, but yeah, that makes sense if the house is big enough for that sort of thing. Then, as this is going on, I want there to be a song playing in the background. Not anybody's playing it, like it's not actively being played by anybody, but you hear a song that is closely associated with one's background. It's a song. Didn't you? I
Fucking
remember
street
there being a song
performers.
that you
Shut
played.
the hell up.
There was a song that you played back in the beginning of the campaign
Mhm.
when you came across a piano in the haunted house in Barovia Village.
Yep, yep.
Oh, really?
So why don't we say, yeah, you wouldn't have known that because you weren't here yet, but yeah, let's say that is the same song you were playing at that time because the beginning of the memory is more positive or at least neutral.
Mm.
I don't think one would be thrilled to play that song in other contexts unless it was associative in some way positively. But as that's going on, I don't know exactly what she'd be playing with. Would it be appropriate to say that she was playing with dolls?
Yeah, sure.
You-
She would
okay.
be dolls for
All
this
right.
time.
Because she's just gonna be kind of a tomboy. I didn't want to make any weird assumptions, but okay. So let's just say she's messing around with some dolls, which in this sort of setting would be made of wood or straw or something like that, wrapped in cloth and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Then down the hallway and in another room, but seems like from your perspective in this vision, if you want to call it that, infinitely far. Like it's just a void. You look down the hallway when you hear this like a crash of some, let's just say, drop like furniture finally falling on the ground. Like big wooden furniture falling on the ground would make a big, loud crash noise. I don't know how to put it. And then your attention is immediately drawn in that direction down the hallway. You look, but you don't see anything. You slowly get up onto your feet and you start walking in that direction. Kind of really uncertain because you.
Absolutely. Very hesitantly, like, what was that?
Yeah, exactly. It's not something you've ever really heard before. It was very loud, even all the way back there, and
Only I make those smashy noises.
yeah, true, yeah. And then as this is going on, as you're going down the hallway, the song becomes a bit more off key and goes like maybe into the minor, and so it's a bit more disturbing and unsettling. Then continues to keep distorting and becoming pretty much unrecognizable and not really musically cohesive by the time that you get out into a living room equivalent in this universe.
Yep.
Some sort of like den or common meeting space.
Like front
to
room for the
main
house.
doorway.
with a-
Yeah. And there, it's your, let's just say, I'm trying to think of where the people would be specifically. Okay, that makes sense. Your mom is, or well, a woman is sitting, kneeling on the ground, holding, like clinging to the stomach of like a tall a taller man, like broad chest. Definitely looks like he could just be a commoner, but decent enough shape. They share similar features to your own in terms of hair color and skin tone and such. But from the distance where you are in the doorway, looking outward at them, deeper into the room, their facial features and such are more vague and less clearly defined. You can only really tell generally that like their hair color and such, because you have this bright red hair, and that's atypical here in this region. It's not completely unheard of, just rare, kind of like in reality. And as you grow closer, you see another person that's a silhouette in the vagueness. We'll call it like a fog or the whatever. It's not, and not everything's crystal clear because I'm trying to make sure that, because if this is a troublesome memory, you wouldn't remember everything perfectly. It wouldn't make any sense. So in this fogginess, outcome is a silhouette of something that's standing over them, because it's like the mom got knocked over, the female figure got knocked over, the father is trying to hold her up from falling entirely. There's a crash dresser beside both of them, and this other person is advancing toward them, and just mostly a black caped or cloaked figure that is like you can't make out anything of other than a big silhouette. Yet as you get there, as you get closer, then everybody's attention turns to you all at once, simultaneously. Like the mother is like the first one to look at you, which then draws the eye of the menacing figure, the enemy. We'll just call him that for a moment. And then the father figure follows suit, all like in order, like very, very quick order. And all you can see at Strahd's, at the enemy's figure is just a large smile, and mostly indistinct of anything else. And
oh no, is it Eric? Is it Strahd? Is it one of the party members? Who knows?
Yeah. And then immediately, it's like you're pulled, like telekinetically, because it feels that way, toward them, toward the group in general. It's so that you are at their feet, at the feet of everybody in between them all, and the enemy figure is now behind to your left. And then the other two people are right in front of you. The pulling knocked you off balance, and you're not standing entirely anymore. And then you see him turn around and pull out something from his cloak. It's a well engraved, it'd be like a filigree is actually the word I'm thinking of. So it's a very nicely adorned pistol. It's like this black ebony wood, and this a little bit longer than normal barrel for the setting, for what you typically dealt with handgun that has a nice silver platinum finish. It's very recognizable, which is why I was focusing on its appearance. And that if you saw it again, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, that is that pistol." Yeah. Yeah. And momentarily, he points it at the woman as she is there, kind of clutching at the man's chest, kind of trying to kind of hide back, and she seems like she might be injured because she's dragging her feet on the ground, at least one of her feet. She's not standing entirely, And first he does that. He points it at them and he looks as though he's going to shoot, but then he stops, and then he looks down at the girl between them, and then he slowly kneels down and
Alright, punch him in the chin.
as he slowly kneels down. He's pointing it at the two adults the whole time, so they're not really moving very much. Except when he gets closer to you, the man almost like makes a move slowly, and then the gun like swivels like immediately to your head, and then the man stops and doesn't move any further. And you hear indistinct talking of, you can't really tell, of different. It sounds angry. But it's kind of hushed at the same time, like whisper yelling, essentially, where people are angry at one another or what's the word I'm looking for? Giving back and forth at different snide remarks and such. And anyway, when he does this, when he gets down next to you, you get a better description of his face, or like it's way more clear than it was before. Where before it was just like inky darkness over his face, and all you could saw earlier was the smile that he had, is sinister, like conniving, manipulative smile of someone who always gets their way and never has had to really worry about anything at any time in their lives. And when he gets closer down to you, you can see it is indistinct. Definitely, without question, it's Strahd, but he looks a little bit different than you've seen him in your own time.
It's in his
And
college
like,
days. He had
say,
peace hand.
let's say he's got like a little bit of a different hairstyle, but it's still definitely him, but it looks a little different in terms of how he must have adorned himself at the time. And right as he kneels down in front of you, he puts a hand on your shoulder with his free hand, because the other hand has the firearm in it. And when it does that, everything around you, rather than having color, now suddenly is just black and white, and that it's just indistinct and just black and white, and you don't hear any sound anymore of anything. Just suddenly everything stopped. The song that has then, that by this time already just corrupted into just indistinct noise, just not even anywhere near what you would call music anymore. It was just cruel instrument interactions of some forced, violent kind. Now you don't hear anything at all. Everything around you, except for him, he's some color to him, not a lot, but some, versus none of the environment around you. And he looks right into your eyes with his own, and they, at first, are just a very, very, very dark, deep red, kind of like what's it? Yeah, blood, obviously, but like a wine, like a red wine, very deep, dark, like purplish red color, that then start to brighten as he stares into your eyes, and you can't seem to pull away. Like your focus can't seem to divert, no matter what, how much you try and to struggle. And he just, his smile kind of goes from what it was before, which was one of smugness and of confidence, of victory, to one of satisfaction and almost in a corrupted sort of warmth, like, this will suit you better, or I'll take care of you, but obviously not.
This is much better.
Yes. And then he just says, why don't I let you do it? And as he says this, the words just kind of bounce around and reverberate from every direction all at once, and it's very overpowering. Like you can't really hear anything else but that. You couldn't hear anything before anyway, but it's loud. It's very overpowering. Anybody in the room, like if they were in the room with one, would see her like twitching and kind of kicking or whatever, just moving involuntarily. But back to the scene. He kind of still has her by the shoulder. He gives her the gun with the other hand, and then he looks up at them and says, and don't try to and says, don't try to resist. If you either you do this or I'll take you from them forever.
Okay, I thought it was the other way around. Like that's what he basically describing to the parents. Like, yeah, but okay.
Oh, damn.
No, I mean he's talking to you, and he's saying that he'll take you away from them forever, and
You don't know what he said to them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, correct. And anyway, he gives you
it's just a sense of domination. Like literally, do as I say, and it's like, have really no, will
right.
to resist.
It was magically inclined. I wanted to get to that.
It's fine.
You take the firearm, and although you're trying to resist the urge to turn around and follow through in his command, it feels impossible. Like you're a puppet, and your fingers and your hand and your arm and your shoulders and your whole body just slowly turns in this forced, painful fashion as you try to not have it occur. Like it hurts even as much as you're trying to struggle against it. He just doesn't say anything else. Doesn't seem to. Your focus, your attention's not on him anymore. Actually, he's just kind of stepped back and looking at you as you're doing this. And your focus is just staring at the gun, like as if you could drill a hole right through it with your vision. What you'd want to do, or make it catch on fire. But then you slowly, eventually, turn more toward your parents, and you pointed at them, and I'm trying to think of how to do this very, 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 very specifically. You can just start hearing in your voice and in your head over and over and over again. It says, "You can do this for me. You can do this for me." Then the song comes back from earlier that you had heard when you were playing in the back. It starts to come back like slowly in the background, kind of in reverse from the corrupted form it was into something that's slightly more cohesive. And eventually you raise your hand up, you point it at the chest of the female figure, and as much as your hand is shaking and rattling around, and it eventually, as much as you're trying to fight against it, you just cannot get the voice out of your head, and you cannot stop your body from moving. It's like you're held hostage in your own body, and your mind is just only watched like a TV screen. Definitely. And then you...
Sanka plays.
Then you fire the gun. It hits the female in the chest, and she immediately cries out. And as this happens, right when you fire the gun, everything then comes back into color as it was before. And the woman is struck in the chest, and pulled away from the man that was holding her. She falls to the floor, gasping for breath, wheezing considerably. It's quite violent and unsettling. He tries to make a move for her, but then you hear Strahd say, kind of like a disciplining an animal when they say like when they're like clicking their tongue or their teeth against their tongue to kind of like discipline them or say that they're like don't do that. Then you see the man kind of look back at you, which like totally enraged but also shocked all at the same time, and he then falls back beside the woman and he's just kind of staring at her. He seems like he's less capable of movement in a similar fashion to yourself, and then you are slowly reloading the firearm over time because it takes this time, and he's just he's pleading with Strahd over and over again, like, please don't do this, just don't do this, over and over again. Like, you already got what you want. Keep trying to plead, not crying, not that far, but he's trying to just beg for the safety, the well-being of his child, as well as not dying. But eventually you finish with the gun after he handed you the ammunition and everything you needed to do it, and you've never done it in your life at all. You're far too young, have not received any training in how to do it. Then you go through the same process, and you point it at him, but this time it's like it's gotten easier in a way, or like I guess you'd say it's more
and
after
just
you-
being
you-
controlled. He's got the
Yeah.
knowledge to do such a thing. Sure.
Yeah, it's more that you've resigned yourself more, so it's like you've already done this one thing. There's less resistance to that sort of psychic attack in a way, relatively speaking. And then you fire it at him, and then all you see right before you shoot the father figure, and with the firearm, he says your name, whatever you want that to be. I'm not going to tell you, or reveal to the people, the other players, and then say, you hear it like a whisper. It's very indistinct.
So this is the father figure saying the name.
Yes.
Oh, right.
And then you'd see as he mouths, "I love you," and then you fire, and it hits him like in the head, and he just super dead immediately. He falls back, kind of in sort of a half crescent shape around the female figure that was now dead.
Someone just commit patricide.
Yes.
And
Very literally. Then after that, you feel some control some come back to your body. Like immediately the gun falls to the ground in on the floor, clattering on the wooden floor below. And then as that happens, more of your senses return, like your sense of touch and your sense of smell now, which is the most distressing thing, most distracting thing, most overpowering thing of like blood. There's so much blood. It's something that you are very familiar with in the present, having, done all the violence you have, but not this pungent, this like dramatically, not so much. And this is also would be for the first time. And then
Absolutely. It's also
you fall to your
new and
knees.
intense. It's personal and
Yeah, you fall to the ground, and Strahd is behind you, walking away slowly, and says,
you know where to find me.
yeah, but not he wouldn't say that because it wasn't what he said then. It would be, that is what happens to those who think they can oppose me. And then he says, take care, little girl, and then exits. You hear a door behind you, exit, or open and close in short order. Not slammed or anything, just behind normally. And let's say 15, not even like 10 seconds later at best, less than that, a very, very short order of time, you hear shouting and running and commotion outside. And you turn your head and you're looking at the door, and right as that happens, the door springs open, and it's Eric Keeper. He locks eyes with you, and you're staring at one another before he starts coming over to you, emotionally distraught, tears in his eyes, already kind of understanding what's going on immediately. And you, meanwhile, are like have the blood that has been slowly
like,
pulled over from your parents
holding
over
my
toward
dead
you,
bodies,
you know,
my parents' dead bodies, like, oh, mortified and like, oh, what that's, oh.
Yep. And then, I will say that at that point, he embraces you. He takes just in a very overwhelming, overpowering hug. He embraces you and tries to kind of distract this from you from what's going else on in the scene and
try
get
to
you away
remove
from the blood
from
and
the
all that.
scene.
Yeah, exactly. And then as more people you hear more commotion in the background, he says, come on, let's go. And then everything starts to kind of fade away in the vision into darkness, and eventually you're kind of shooken away.
One? Hello?
You're not currently there, but okay.
Yeah, let's just say that was
I
in
mean,
her
just
own room.
imagining we're sitting around you trying to shake you away.
Yeah, just in the middle of the room.
Yeah, we can either do that, or we can do it that you lock the door and you're in the room or the room alone. Either one.
I mean, I was going to do the lone scene for a second and then go back to the party as it was, but yeah, and it was going to be kind of obvious.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do it that way. Go ahead.
So she basically wakes up from this horrific memory, and she's like, Sophie, my mother, my father, I was the one who did this. And she's like, she immediately has to like leave and rushes out past the party and whatever else to go speak with Eric. And it's like very obvious she's like very, emotional at the time. She's like crying and stressed and like doesn't want to talk to anyone and immediately rushes past you. I don't know if you want to stop her for a second to try to talk to her, but yeah.
Yeah, would anybody try to do that, or like in any serious fashion, like physically get in her way?
What's your pattern? Like, are you storming out there looking very angry? Because if so, possibly, she seems like she's going somewhere.
Yeah,
she's like angrily mad and determined, and she's crying, and she's very bad. Like, and you were there at the time with Eric, who says like think back on the memories, and you'll probably remember it clearly.
Yeah, you're definitely able to put more two and two together in a way.
Wait, what? Where are you going? What are you doing?
I have to speak with Eric, Darius.
Okay.
I have to ask him the questions. I'm sorry, and I like step away from you people. I don't know if anyone else wanted to try to stop her or let her go, or comment once she left or whatever.
Yeah, is there anyone else that is there that would try to stop one or comment?
I don't think Lucian would try.
Or
yeah,
even if you want to like follow her to see where she's going.
I would think that maybe like a couple seconds after like one awakes from her dream, maybe she's like heavy breathing, maybe she's sweating or something. Like a couple seconds later, I would wake up and I would have the same look based off of my dream.
Yeah, that would make sense. You guys both had scenes of yourselves in last session or this session, so that makes sense completely. Then yeah, it could be synced up relatively close together. The expression on Cole's face is more one of confusion and trying to put something together. Like he's definitely contemplating and thinking very hard. Where as one by comparison is very very upset, far more emotional, and just wanting to leave the environment she's in.
Okay. Wait. Did any of you just get a visit from Strahd again?
I don't. Yeah, did it? I don't know what did, but did any?
That would be like the first thing Darius had.
A good point. That is actually a logical thing.
With us all the time, sure.
Yeah. What would one? How would respond to that? Or is she still running? Is she still
I'm
trying
fine
to
if
go?
you're just out the door.
Yeah, she's at the door.
Let's just then. What we'll do is we'll say that you make it to the door one and you leave and you slam like you run through the door. You don't give a shit about anything. Like maybe bump into some people on the way out.
Oh yeah, I'm like
Just totally booking it.
Absolutely.
Your one objective is get to Eric. But let's say Cole. Cause I want to do like a little severance here, like that way we can kind of cut the scenes into chunks. We'll say that Cole, how would you respond to Darius's question of what do you think it was manipulation on Shroud's part, like because you both have this emotional response to waking up.
Yeah, I think I would turn towards Darius, kind of like wipe the sweat off my forehead, like with my shirt collar or short shirt sleeve, and I would say, I don't think Strahd caused this vision that I had, but he was sure in it. I do need to think on this. Maybe we can talk later. Maybe in the morning with some nice warm food.
Yeah, we could say it's like in the middle of the night, like very early morning. Say 3 a.m. whatever, something like that.
Yeah. Because I only need 4 hours, so like I wouldn't sleep the full 8.
Yeah, well, let's say you guys got there late because of all the stuff you were doing the previous day, and right now it's like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. It's not time where a lot of people would be out on the street. What? Just for curiosity's sake, what are Lucien and Michael doing? So let's go with Lucien. What are you doing, and where are you? This would be after you guys talked to the. You were down at the bar. You talked to the two guys about the Mad Mage and all that. So.
Well, I probably hit the head pretty hard last night and drank.
Yeah, you were drinking very hard before it caught up to you.
So I probably would have slept all 4 hours.
Right.
I woken up, made some more steaks, kind of.
A drunken trance. It's one of those
Yeah.
very elven luxuries.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Then that's yeah. You're kind of thinking about maybe the coffin guy, the store,
Yeah.
and then also maybe
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm formulating the plan, how we can get and how to convince.
Yeah. You're thinking like, man, that guy's weird. I don't know. There's something about him that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, exactly. My gut tells me that there's something strange about him. I gotta look into this. How do I get in there? Do I sneak past him? Do I distract him?
Right.
Force it? That kind of thing. You're mulling over these different ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We know where Darius is. We know where Cole is. So Michael, where is Michael? Throughout.
Oh, throughout the night. I'm probably just on my bed, just looking at the ceiling, thinking about life decisions and such.
Okay, we can kind of follow up on that. How much more serious is Michael considering leaving the Order of Hades? And like, how has he thought on Phoebe's words of perhaps staying with the Order, trying to work past your hesitations, or are you have more conviction in perhaps leaving because it doesn't mesh well with things you've encountered in your life otherwise?
Yeah, no, I was just sitting there thinking. And like he's still on the verge of like once he's done here, he's got some serious thinking to do.
Okay. I just wanted to give everybody an opportunity to chime in. Then well, chronologically, we would make the most sense to go back to 1. So we'll do that. We'll go back to 1. She's running through the street, making her way toward Eric Keeper's house. There are not very many people up and about at this time. The
it's getting kind of late.
Mostly, it's mostly empty. Except there's a couple new volunteer guards that are kind of like just watching you with their eyes, and none of them are like chasing after you or anything. But they're just like, what? Why is she okay? What? Anything happen? They kind of like looking around, being cautious. But yeah, you don't really run into anybody along the way or anything like that. You eventually make your way to his door.
Yeah, I start like pounding on his door, saying, "Eric, open up! I remember what happened. Open up right now. You have." Pardon?
He's slow. There's definitely a slow to respond to the pounding in spite of the urgency on your part. The lights were off, and there wasn't like any fire from inside or anything, or any illumination, I should say. But after that, you hear again some crashing and some running over. This time very hurried. In less than a minute, he's at the doorway at the door, and he opens it up quickly, and he's kind of panting from exerting himself getting there so quickly, and sees you probably similarly panting. And
absolutely. But then I like charge into him and grab him by his shirt and like grapple him in a sort of emotional sense. And says, "Why?
Yeah.
I remember what happened. Why didn't you tell me Strahd was there? All this time, I thought I was the one who the
right.
dreams. I thought I was the one with the blood on my hands."
He says, it's. What do you say? Let's say it just says, I'm sorry, many times over, trying to kind of hush you down and pull you off, kind of patting you on the back.
But from his perspective, he did not see Strahd, so he didn't know. But yeah,
right, he did not know at all that he can kind of put it together after the fact, but does not know that. And says, I was just trying to look out for you. It was a crazy time. It was so much happened, and it was so much for a girl to go through. I didn't know what to do. I don't have any children, and he's kind of like going back and forth in his emotions between trying to look out for you, but also trying to defend his shame.
Sure.
But all the same, he kneels down, and because he's taller than you, you're not exceptionally short, but you're shorter than him.
Yeah, I'm fairly
and
short.
he kind of kneels down, and
You're kind of low connection at the second. Why isn't this working?
Nope, should be okay now.
Okay. We're back.
There we go.
Yeah, server just turned again. I think everybody's okay.
Strahd, stop messing with my story. Let it go.
Yep. All right. So he's kneeling down in front of you. He has his hands on either of your arms, kind of looking up at you, and says, "I tried the best I could. I hope you understand. I care for you. I really do."
I cut him off from that point. Says, "I don't care about that right now. Why Why were my parents killed personally by Strahd? What made them so damn important that they had to be taken from me?
That is a good question. He kind of hesitates for a moment, trying to think, like, wait, Strahd? He doesn't say that. That's what he's thinking. He says, Strahd? You think he was killed? So they were killed by Strahd?
I know what he looks like. He's been following us. He's been following my group for weeks now. I couldn't mistake him even if I wanted to.
Okay. Then he responds into that. He's just kind of thinking it over for a time. He's like, and you can see the realization in his face slowly kind of manifests, where he's thinking about different details, and it's like all comes to him all at once. He's like, that makes sense. And he says, oh, well, that actually explains a lot. You see, your parents, they were pretty vocal critics of Strahd. They were trying to kind of stir up a mob or a revolution even against him all those many years ago. There was a series of accidents prior to their death that was not really easily explained at that time, but they were not killed yet. But this all makes sense. He's just kind of looking past you, thinking on multiple events and everything all coming together. He says, that, why? Yeah, he I guess that's the sort of person he is. That anything to win.
Anything to win? That's. I know Strahd's a monster, but to make me, a child, kill my own parents, and settle you with the whole, responsibility. What about you? Why were you there?
He chimes in and says, I mean, what other way than to terrify the rest of us than by creating a story like this, or making it seem like you could be the one that were killed next, and by your own flesh and blood, all the same. And
yeah,
it's a fairly powerful way of intimidating people.
Absolutely.
And it's not as though
she's asking from an emotional side, not a logical side. She kind of realised the power of intimidation for that purpose. But yeah, and she asked, like, basically, what about you? Why were you there? Why did you, of all people, take me in as your own?
I was a friend of your father. I too was working with him against Strahd. At least I was trying to keep tabs on what the leadership were up to, because I was still working then. And I was there because I lived closer by, and we were so close that when I heard a commotion of a rumor, or people talking, saying that there was a gunshot that came from, or gunshots that came from that direction, I was immediately concerned. I ran over there. That's when I saw you, and I knew that's what your father would want, for me to help you.
It's like you knew their names. You were their friends.
Of course, and I'm not going to. The DME is not going to say their name.
No, that is the moment to say the names of their parents.
All right, I just didn't want to speak for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with your father's name is Deacon, and
Deacon.
Your mother's name.
I did type to you the names and whatnot, but okay, it was.
Oh no, Sorry, I thought you wanted me to come up with it.
No. You asked me about backgrounds about who they were and whatnot, and it was.
I misunderstood what you said. We're just saying just now. Yeah. You're right. Go right ahead.
It was Nathan Sungard, the guy who was like a heavy armored sword and shield fighter, and then there was Sandy Mock or something along that lines. She was a
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember what you're talking about now. Sorry, I completely forgot about that. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, you're right. So he relays these names to you kind of immediately. Like he knows their names very well. He thinks about them often. He tells you about their names, what they were like, what they were skilled at in terms of what they offered to the community, and I suppose even their combat abilities. That would be peripheral relative to other things.
Yeah, and that he was a strong-willed, noble acting individual, while she was like a kind-hearted, fun-loving sort of individual, and that's sort of the influences along with Eric. Those are the influences that kind of made one the person she is today, a bard and whatnot.
Yeah, a combination of those personalities of aggressive, of very kind-hearted, like a mixture sometimes. Like sometimes she'd be very determined and stubborn. Sometimes she was just very concerned with other people's well-being and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's a mixture of these personalities, and I mean, raised by all of them. Do you want to? How do you want? How do I ask you this in private? I'll just ask you really quickly on Discord.
Yeah, just if you're asking.
I'm asking you on Discord about. Do you want me to bring up this subject?
That one really depends if we are definitely going to continue the same characters in a future adventure to give her something to do. But otherwise,
we definitely would. I would definitely try to make that happen.
Oh,
I can't make any guarantees, but I can still.
Yeah. Oh, by all
that
means, you could share that.
Yeah. Then. Okay. And then he says one final thing. This is before like the scene cuts away and we go back to operating as normal. He says you also had a brother, and kind of waits for your shock to come and wane because he wouldn't expect it.
I let go of his shirt slowly and says, "I had a brother. I didn't even know about him."
And he says, "Yes, he was not there at the time when your parents died, and this is me, DM. I believe
he was basically already off on his own adventures by then. Like,
yeah, exactly. He was off on his own already. He wasn't there when it happened, and I don't believe that you have ever. Well, obviously, you never saw him again, and I don't know about his perspective, whether he ever came back to the country.
Yeah.
But
as far as he knows, he doesn't even know about it right now. He's outside of the
fog.
Yeah, the fog.
He got beyond the fog and outside of the country, and he's not been heard of since then.
Definitely.
For good reason.
Yes. So I don't even know if he would know about what happened to his parents. That would take a lot of leapfrogging to get that kind of information to somebody.
And his name was Sam Sungard, but I don't know if you want to cut the scene by that point. Sure.
No, that'd be the perfect point. He would say he would relay the name right then, and he would like punctuate the part. And at that moment, let's say you hear that and you feel right away like you think, well, I have to find him. Something along those lines of I know what I need to do, and there's this sense of direction and purpose and
something beyond killing Straw to pursue.
Yeah, you have this thing that's a long-term trajectory that you had not had up to this point, other than just defeating Straw. So, all right, that all transpired. Let's now go to everybody waking up.
How can I ask how?
Yes. What?
How does that scene end, like at Eric's? There's just cut to black after that conversation, or
Yeah.
We
yeah.
awkwardly stand
stay
there for
away
a
and
while.
wandering.
Yeah, I want to think that she would stay there for a while, talking about more things. Maybe she could finish up her long rest there if you want.
Yeah. They just basically
Chris,
went
that's-
reconstructed
yeah.
the whole scene now that we pieced the puzzle, the pieces together, and it's like that's basically what happened.
Yeah, so all the same, everybody gets their long rest, everything transpires as everything else did. We wake up, let's say we're at the inn, everybody gets up in their respective places, how go about their typical routines.